Today on Open Minds UFO Report, a 17th century UFO sighting in Russia. A Louisiana witness says a jet followed a UFO near an Air Force base, and the FAA claims a couple paragraphs is all they have on UFOs. Your Open Minds UFO Report starts now. Hello and welcome to the Open Minds UFO Report. My name is Alejandro Rojas. UFO researcher Paul Stonehill focuses on UFO sightings in Russia, and in a recent article he submitted to OpenMinds.tv, he summarized some fascinating historical sightings in the Euro-Russia area. The most famous took place in Russia's Vologda region in 1663. The incident was documented in a report from a laborer to his supervisors. The story goes that on August 15th, between 10 a.m. and noon, a great noise was heard over Robo-Zero Lake. From the north, out of the clear blue sky, a huge flaming sphere appeared. It was estimated to be 40 feet in diameter. The sphere emitted two bright beams of light from the front, and blue smoke poured out of its sides. Villagers came from all around to watch the object as it hovered over the lake. Many of them were already gathered to go to a church on the lakeshore. Frightened villagers ran into the church to pray while others wept. Eventually, the object vanished and two others were seen. They too disappeared before another one was seen on a different part of the lake. This one grew in size and brightness and moved westward until it eventually dimmed out and disappeared. The objects were seen over the lake for an hour and a half. During this time, a boat was sailing on the lake. They tried to approach one of the objects but could not get close due to scorching heat being emitted by the large orb. They observed the light from the object penetrate the water and could see fish fleeing towards the shore. They also saw the flaming orb touch the water. Later, they found a brown film of oxide that looked like rust at this spot, which was later dispersed by the wind. The report of the sighting included signed testimonials by local priests who also witnessed the event. Stonehill's article describes other fascinating events and can be found at OpenMinds.tv. You can also find a link to Stonehill's new book, Russia's USO Secrets: Unidentified Submersible Objects in Russian and International Waters. A witness near Bossier City, Louisiana, reported watching and videotaping an unknown cylinder-shaped object that appeared to be followed by a jet near an Air Force base, according to a report submitted to the Mutual UFO Network known as MUFON. The witness was outside at a local Air Force base working as a civilian housekeeper and happened to look up at 7:53 p.m. on June 3, 2015. I watched this cylinder-shaped object slowly cruise across the sky as if it was just gliding slowly, the witness stated. I've never seen anything like this. But there was another object in the sky. Right behind it was clearly a jet or an airplane. I don't know which, but it had a stream coming from behind it. It was following the object at a steady pace, never getting too close. I caught most of it on video with my phone. I put my phone away because we're not supposed to have them. The witness watched as the object moved away. As I watched for the next few minutes, the further the object got, it got smaller until it looked like a bright star, and then it just vanished, leaving nothing but the jet. Later that evening, the witness said that there was heavy military traffic in the air. Louisiana MUFON is investigating the case. While searching for the Federal Aviation Administration's, known as FAA, UFO files, a researcher using the Freedom of Information Act, known as FOIA, recently received the FAA's procedures for taking UFO reports. John Greenwald runs theblackvault.com, a website where he posts the millions of pages of government files he has received via FOIA requests. He began seeking these files when he was still a high school student. In April, Greenwald sent a FOIA request to the FAA asking for their UFO files. A few days later, on April 18, Greenwald got a reply. He received a portion of a document called the Aeronautical Information Manual, Official Guide to Basic Flight Information and ATC Procedures. Apparently, it is the latest version of these instructions, and it took effect on December 10, 2015. The first page provided comes from the Safety, Accident, and Hazard Reports section of the manual. Section 764 deals with reporting UFOs. It states A. Persons wanting to report UFO unexplained phenomena activity should contact the UFO Unexplained Phenomena Reporting Data Collection Center, such as the National UFO Reporting Center, etc. B. If concern is expressed that life or property might be endangered, report the activity to the local law enforcement department. Another page of the manual is also included. Section 8 of the manual appears to be dedicated to UFO reports. However, it just repeats the same verbiage found in Section 764. These few pages from the manual are all Greenwald was sent. The UFO reporting organization mentioned, the National UFO Reporting Center, known as NUFORC, is a one-man show ran out of Davenport, Washington. NUFORC was founded in 1974 and is currently ran by Peter Davenport. There are many stories of the FAA receiving UFO reports, so it is a little strange that these few pages are all that Greenwald received. I asked Greenwald if he was disappointed. It is a little disappointing, but not necessarily a surprise, Greenwald responded. Just because the term UFO does not appear in a manual or regulation, that doesn't necessarily mean that a pilot or FAA official has not reported anything of substance. I don't take the outcome of this FOIA request as the final answer, and I am still pursuing other avenues to see if that agency has any other documents that we should know about. Greenwald, an experienced and persistent FOIA user, plans to pursue other avenues to attempt to ferret out more UFO secrets from the FAA. I think it is very likely that there are other records to be found, but what is very difficult about the Freedom of Information Act and the FAA specifically is that there are quite a few regional offices and locations that the documents could exist at, Greenwald explained. It is not uncommon for an agency that large with so many places to look to make it very difficult to find records. You essentially have to file a request to each and every regional location or branch. That does not mean I haven't or won't, just saying that it does make it much more difficult. Greenwald points out that although the FAA seems to have no interest in UFOs, they probably should. It's concerning that the FAA is not interested in a UFO report. Why wouldn't they be? In this day and age we live in, I would think that something unidentified in the sky would and should be of great interest, especially if pilots are reporting UFOs over one of the busiest airports in the United States, like one of the most famous and credible UFO sightings related to commercial air travel. In 2006, a disc-shaped object was reported by United Airlines personnel at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. They said the object hovered over gate C-17 and then shot straight up, piercing the clouds and leaving a hole in them.
The UFO O'Hare story the Chicago Tribune exclusively broke on New Year's Day is garnering attention around the world. Joining us now to talk about it once again is Tribune transportation writer John Hilkovich, who broke the story. And John, the response has been, well, out of this world, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been astronomical, Jim. Every major country, it seems, people have written in, both those who claim they've spotted UFOs during their life, as well as serious researchers. I mean, just the last 2 days, this is my email, and these are the serious emails. The ones from kooks who said they were brought aboard alien spacecraft, I put in a circular file. So it's just a story that has legs, and people are fascinated by the thought, and I think there's some belief that there are advanced life forms that are visiting us here on a regular basis.
You've been contacted now in the last few days by several countries, but that also includes serious university researchers here in the U.S.
The story was covered by Chicago Tribune's John Hilkovich, who said at the time it was their most viewed online story. He was interviewed by all of the major news outlets about the sighting and said at first the FAA denied to have reports on the incident. After submitting a FOIA request, they admitted to receiving reports, but claimed that they believe the event was due to some sort of weather anomaly. You can see some of these interviews with Hilkovich in our story on openminds.tv. That's your Open Minds UFO Report for today. You can find these stories and more at openminds.tv. We post fresh UFO news daily. You can also follow us on Twitter at OpenMindsTV, and you can find us on Facebook. The 25th International UFO Congress was a great success, and DVDs of the lectures can be purchased at our online store. They can also be viewed on our video portal, an online streaming service. For one low price, you can view an archive of lectures from past UFO Congress events, and more videos are being added regularly. Our store and our video portal can be found at openminds.tv. Let us know if you enjoyed today's episode by liking the episode on YouTube and leaving us your comments in the section below. You can also download our podcast, Open Minds UFO Radio, on iTunes or at openminds.tv/radio. Thanks again for joining us today. For openminds.tv, I'm Alejandro Rojas.